Welcome there, lovely people. I wanted to come on really to sort of do a video as to explaining what is happening for us really energetically, and how this will be affecting us through our mental health, our emotional health, and our physical, and how we can really little self-care tips in terms of how we can help ourselves navigate this. Okay, so there's been a lot going on, so I'll try and compress this the best I can. So we've had the autumn equinox, and what that means is this is a change, another cycle that we flow with nature. So my incense has gone slightly crackers there. The change is actually our consistency, and when we actually honor that, accept that as it is, that every season we will change, things will happen, things will shift for us. So the essence of autumn is about finding that balance, that equinox where we found the equal nights and day, is finding that line. And then as you start to come into winter, it's slowly tipping. And what it's calling for us to do is to see what we're carrying that we no longer need. And this can be on many levels. So this could be our mental issues. So this could be belief systems or bullshit, is what I like to call it, BS, which aren't our truth. However, we're so conditioned, or it's so deep within our subconscious, we don't see it any differently. We don't even necessarily are conscious of these belief systems and these patterns, which continues a loop and a cycle, which then the thought, the mental energy then creates an emotional attachment to that, a reaction to that, which is really into our endocrine system, the pituitary gland, the thyroid, the thymus, everything through the adrenal system. So real triggering this emotion, if you think of it as emotions, energy in motion. So, and that is what our hormone system is. It's like a trigger, it's a thought, something needs to happen. So it's like a stimuli for our body to react to whatever needs to be done. What then creates is a physical reaction. And if we're having continuous cycles of negative emotions and negative thought processes, and we have, I don't know, I think it's about 40 to 60,000 thoughts a day. It's a lot of thoughts. And if they're not positive, there's a constant berating and negativity, lowering our vibration within our physical self. So we have to really create in our day-to-day life is a practice to recognize these patterns, these belief systems that we are carrying, not only in our subconscious mind, but also what I call in our unconscious body, which is what we have taken through our ancestors. So we recognize our DNA physically comes through, but also emotional can come through, especially trauma and fear. Can really come through that whole genetic process into our bodies. So, like I say, we may not even have a conscious recognition of what we are creating in our lives. And our subconscious mind plays out for 99% of our thoughts and our actions. Now, if that is not aligned to love, joy, peace, abundance, freedom, whatever it is that you're really wanting in your life, to be able to be really you and self-expression, you're going to be in constant battle with yourself if your subconscious isn't actually coordinated to that. It's kind of like an autopilot. And if you haven't put the coordinates in there consciously, your body and your mind are going to be playing out for you. It's like a beacon. It's a transmission of what your actual beliefs of who you are. So it kind of plays out and creates your reality. So what we need to do is really look at that and understand what's playing out for us. And we can only do that when we're still, when we come off the conveyor belt of society that it's created, which is being ramped up again because everyone's shit scared they haven't got enough money. So our conditioned response to get more money is to work friggin' harder, to push, to push, to push, to be more stressed, to sit in survival mode, to get into fear mode. And ultimately, this shuts the body down in that fight-flight mode. If it gets too much, it goes into freeze mode, which actually then the body just, if you think of rabbit in headlights, it just goes into that shock and vibration that can't quite shift. And for the body, that can only be sustained for so long. And this is when stress and burnout and mental health issues, anxiety, depression, adrenal fatigue, brain fog, all starts to materialize into our physical well-being and in what we're feeling and experiencing within our bodies. So, as I said, we need to get back into creating pockets as often as we can to create more consciousness for ourselves, to consciously connect into our subconscious, to unpick the shit that's in there. Ultimately, it's like, if it's not love, joy, or peace, it's not true. However, humanity, for thousands of years, free will has chosen fear most of the time. And in fact, actually, fear from the amygdala, what stores the trauma responses, has much of a deeper memory recall on the primitive mind than actual joy may have. So you only probably need to be in a fear-based situation for about 3 times, and it's there and it's recorded. With more joy, it tends to needs to be more experiences. So you can see how we can be quite conditioned from a fear perspective or survival, even though we don't even recognize we're in that system. So these pockets of time to create for yourself can be meditation. Which I can, we do for the guided meditation of Pajama Revolution. So there's that you can go and use straight away as a way of form. You might say meditation isn't for me, can't do it, can't keep a quiet mind. That's okay. Meditation is misunderstood to think that you have to have a quiet mind. Actually, it's more about being objective to your mind. So things that come up, you can see them coming up for what they are, to then choose whether you want to continue with that continuation of that thought process. So you start to be very conscious and aware of what's going on in your body and in your mind. So you may have that rabbit hole of thought process, and then you just come back and breathe, and you can connect back into where you want to be. And it's just a gentle process that you can build up on time and time again, creating neural plasticity, so new pathways of neural that connects to your body. So if you have a very busy mind, which you most likely are right now, because the mental energy has been ramped up majorly. It's like 10 times, like if someone's got an amp and really wants to turn up that volume, it's friggin' increased massively. And if you're not creating these practices of mental awareness of yourself, you will have the thought, you'll have the emotional connection to that thought, and off you go into this whirlwind, okay, or whirlpool, or tornado, or wherever it ends up. I've been through this in the last couple of weeks, last 4 weeks, a couple of weeks ago, and it was horrid. It's a really horrid experience. And I wouldn't say I struggle with anxiety, not to the point that I would consciously say I am. I may look at myself at some other point and recognize I was, but at this moment, I wouldn't say that I have. But back then, it was incredible. It was majorly depressing. And just thoughts whirling, and then that creates the emotion, and it's like I say, it's just this torment. And for me, I had to, even me being aware of it, seeing what was happening, you have to take real measured responses to disconnect from that and have more of an objectivity to it. So it's grounding is really important. So I actually went to go and get a copper anklet because I really felt like I needed to be grounded to the earth, which I'll hopefully talk about in a minute, just to try and keep the energy. It's like trying to catch lightning. You can't catch lightning, you have to let it get to the earth. So there's huge amount of energy that's coming through our system. We're seeing these solar flares that are coming through. Now, if we just let it stay in the head, we just frazzle ourselves. So we have to be very grounded to allow that energy to flow through us and into the earth to receive and absorb, for rather than us to take this upgrade up through our physical body. So with the mental energy that's coming up, it was this grounding essence that I really had to focus on, and to decide that these thoughts that weren't positive, that were coming up, were really just there to show me what no longer serves me. It wasn't my truth. It wasn't actually my reality. It's purely my shit coming up to be seen. Okay, so I've talked about this before, not losing your shit, you're shifting it. Okay, which falls quite nicely into autumn, which links to the lungs and the large intestines. So it's really about letting go of your shite that you no longer need. Okay, so it's a real detox, mentally, physically, emotionally. And I will say, if you're not doing the mental process, one, it's going to screw your head, not make you very happy and miserable, and then it will come into your physical. Okay, if you're not doing mental detoxing or letting go of what you no longer need and choosing what you really want to feel, it's going to get deeper and deeper into your body until your body goes, I can't carry this shit anymore. Okay, and then it has to kind of go, okay, I need to let go. So the more on it you are with your mental, emotional state, the more easier you will be from your physical state. Okay. So we're breaking free, not breaking down. This is a real thing. You may feel like everything's falling apart for you. Well, what's probably falling apart for you is things that no longer serve you. Okay, and this can be relationships, it may be work, it may be just your general aspects, or just life, really. So and this is the miracle. This is when you can shift your perception of things. You could go into real victim martyr mode, or you can decide and go, okay, how is this serving me? How is this making me grow? Or you may be simply just needing rest. You may just need to be literally just going, no more. You know, things like broken legs and accidents and different things can actually sometimes are telling you just to slow down. Okay, your body will tell you, if you've not listened to this, or your heart emotionally, your physically will end up telling you in the end. So it's really good to kind of stay on top of the game if you can, through doing these mental wellness aspects of your mind. So meditation is one, journaling is another. Just kind of giving yourself an objectivity, just asking your pen to flow, to see what comes up. What do I need to know today? What do I need to release today? And just kind of come into more of an objective space for yourself. It's not disconnecting from yourself. It's just trying to park and get out of your own way a little bit and hold a more objectivity to it. And this is also really key, that objectivity is understanding that we're humans. We fuck up. We get things wrong. We give ourselves a hard time. We have a whole load of emotions. This is what we're here. We're not robots, okay? So we are very emotional creatures. So it's essential sometimes just accepting that you're human, okay? And for a person that has being constantly on a go at ourselves, like self-sabotage, self-sacrifice. It's really quite liberating when you stop giving yourself such a frigging hard time, and which comes sort of instigates from guilt and shame. As and why I'm on guilt and shame. This is like a real low vibration. It's like the lowest vibration, which is the same frequency as lead. Okay, so it's a very heavy metal, very heavy. And if you think what lead is to our body, it's toxic. So our thoughts, our mental thoughts, can have the same toxicity of physically for our bodies. Okay. And things like fibromyalgia, things like chronic fatigue, MS, these are very linked. Well, I believe, okay, this isn't a medical confirmation, but this is where the body's been suppressed. It isn't getting enough oxygen and energy to the cells because of this very low vibration. And I see a lot of guilt, shame, trauma has kind of resonated into the body, which is kind of suffocating and toxifying the body, to not enable it to breathe, to not allow our lungs to work to create that oxygen and to release what we don't need. So that is coming up. It's just, there's so much. I'm talking a lot here, I know that, but guilt, shame, and is right one of the lowest vibrations, and they sit in the sacrum. And the low part of our bodies are sort of sexual energy. And this is actually where our joy center is, the pleasure center, our desires, our blueprint of who we are, what we're here for, our creative essence, which we are all creative. We don't always have to be a Picasso to be creative. We can be creative in our minds. We can be creative and adaptive in our thought processes. So we don't. It doesn't have to be a drawing or some drama queen or anything like that. It's this essence of who we are here to be. And we are all here in our own little uniqueness to be like a jigsaw piece for this world. And unfortunately, we're conditioned in our schooling systems and different aspects that we have to fit in a certain category to be accepted. And, you know, we've all gone through this in our life, that we all are seeking to be accepted, to belong somewhere. So we kind of kill a part of ourselves to belong, to feel safe, you know, and this can even link back down to our childhood, of where you just had to keep quiet, where showing off was frowned upon, which was actually probably what you were, was just exploring who you were. But you got labeled you were showing off, and then it was a negative. To say that you loved yourself was arrogance. Whereas actually to love yourself really is very beautiful to do. And I believe that ultimately for us to truly heal, we have to love ourselves and accept ourselves for who we are in our complete uniqueness. And this guilt, this shame, this joy and who we're here for, it's like the shadow of it. So it's how we can alchemize and shift this lead and emotions to gold, and this fear back to love. And it's only free will that's created fear. Okay. Actually, our pure essence is this high vibration, like a baby. It's joy, it's love, it's pure, it's peace, it's okay, not maybe at 1 o'clock in the morning screaming its head off, but ultimately there's this real joy and purest essence of as a children, which we all were once. So where does it all go wrong? And it's coming back to that purest essence of ourselves. And this may be doing inner child work. This is what I do in my practice, but it may also be looking at, you know, that might be coming up for you now to work through, to enable you to be you, to be who you're really here to be. So this is another belief system that may be created as your inner child, that your voice isn't heard. So what's the point? That you can't be creative, you can't explore, because if you do, that's deemed as failure, or there's something negative attachments to it. So it's about really investigating consciously and curiously of yourself. of what it is that's blocking you of your joy, of what you're here to be. And like I say, I believe we're all here to be something in this world, to share like a jigsaw piece of puzzle, to have a greater, more heart-conscious existence with ourselves, with each other. And we can only really do that when we're truthful to ourselves, when we come into our heart with self-love and acceptance, where we can be open and honest and communicate this with much more vulnerability. That when we choose that vulnerability, we're actually in our most courageous self. So many people actually look up to people like that, who inspire them to be truthful, to be authentic. So I believe we're also being encouraged to shift all that stuff that's blocking us to be who we're here for, because it has been coming up through my clinic of late. It's really, the essence of it was saying, now's your time. Now's your time to be you. And it's like a line in the sand for you to decide, what do you want to be? What do you want to be in this world? What do you want to do? How do you want to feel? And not thinking that it's just a dead cert, that this is just the way life is. This is just who I am. Really start to give yourself some deep questions as to what makes you happy, what brings you joy. And we're not here to work hard in stress and die. We're miracles. We're not, who knows why we're really here on this planet? But we're not here for that. We're not here for just getting stressed, hard work, take all the resources out of the earth as much as we can, and then just pop the clogs. We're here for something much more than that. And I know, or I'm even knowing just a small fraction of the miracle that we are of our bodies, how I can simply help smooth out the layers of the body and it continues to heal. How it shows me what needs to happen, what it will tell me, what needs to come and be translated to the person for their body, and how to connect them to their body. Our bodies are purely, this is all we've got. So we need to look after it. And we have a tendency to live up into the headspace and only think that's of any value. We're forgetting about the rest of our body. Our heart is 5,000 times the frequency of our mind. 5,000 times the frequency of our mind. Our heart is more than a pump. It connects our whole of our body. It connects us to the earth. It holds the emotion of love when it's fully open and expanded. This is when we're able, because we're heart chakra in the lungs area. It's about this giving and receiving in balance. Again, which is this martyr energy that's coming up, where you're just pouring out all your energy, all your power, giving it away. It's kind of like, woe is me, here you go. But a part of that is because at some point you don't think you're equal. So this is coming up for us. What's your self-worth? How do you believe in yourself? Do you allow yourself to receive love? Are you scared of love? Do you have fears? Is there betrayal going on somewhere in the body that's blocking your back of your heart to allow yourself to fully receive? There's so much that we need to understand with our bodies and to be able to help and process. So we may be getting that with colds and viruses. This is when the heart plays, the chakras opening and trying to detox. We get these viruses, we get ill. When we've got coming into our gut, which is the large intestine, this has 100 million neurons brain it's a separate and enteric brain to our central nervous system. This is our gut instinct. This is something we really need to connect to have the discernment of what is ours and what is not, what is pure and what is not, what is our truth. I mean, we have so much bombardment of media that we have been told to think a certain way. We need to actually start to listen to our bodies and get our own truth. What feels right to us? And sometimes you just know it, but you don't understand why. But there's just a very deep inner knowing. And that is, again, another level of trust that we're coming into. So we're being encouraged to come into trust. We're coming in to connect to our bodies, to connect to who we're here for and what we are to be. And to then take off these layers of BS that block us from being that, to feel safe being ourselves. And this is when we start to grow. This is when we start to be who we are. This is when we start living in purpose. And then when we're serving in a way that gives us joy, we feel fulfilled. And we're living a life that is much of a higher vibration. So joy is 560 hertz. It's high, it's a high vibration. Whereas, like I said, lead, shame and guilt is 30. It's like a lead balloon, okay? So if you're very low, you're probably carrying some BS about shame and guilt that's happened in this lifetime, or you're carrying it, okay? And you might talk and talk and talk about it, but you may never ever consciously connect to it if you're just in your headspace. You have to be in your body, okay? Everything is about being in this body. And I've worked that out, you know, you have to be grounded. But often we will come out of our bodies through trauma, through stress, because it becomes too much and overwhelmed, and it's become a survival method. So we need to be able to come back. We need to connect to our bodies and know that we're safe to be in our bodies. And, you know, whether that's doing work on your own, or it's getting work with somebody like myself who does trauma work. But it's not about re-traumatizing. It's not a game of operation where you're pulling everything out of the body as much as you can. It's about the layering of the skin. We lose our layers of the skin, replenishes every 28 days, but we don't feel it. I mean, you might see it because you've got going dust, but we don't feel it. It's not painful. So you can do this healing process very gently, that you doesn't even feel like you're doing it, but yet you know you're just lighter in your heart. You're smiling more. You're making decisions that you've not done before. You're making choices to maybe go for a job, or ask for more money, or whatever it is, or have better conversations with your partner or your family. It starts to enable you to be you. So we are going through a huge shake-up, a massive detox. I've talked about this before, but there's this fifth dimensional force of energy. This isn't me and my woo-woo. This is actually being seen as quantum physics are seeing this fifth dimensional force is affecting the muons, these atoms, which we are. So it's like a vibration, a wobble. And if you've seen Marvel, I can only explain it like that, of this symbiote, this black tar thing that gets attached into Spider-Man, I think it is in one of them. And it's the sound, the high-pitched sound that breaks it off and pulls it out. It can't attach to it. And things like joy and high-frequency sound will detach from these low vibrations of ourselves, which is, I see that it has been created by humanity through free will, and it's like a plaque on the earth. And it isn't really our reality, it's just a conditioned response that actually, when you go deeper, 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 you find your pureness. You find your pure essence of who you are, and you start to detach from all the bullshit that you're carrying. The shame, the guilt, the patterns, the fears, the lack of opening your heart because you fear of being hurt. It's just so much stuff that we're carrying, okay? And it's doing it layer upon layer. So I think the essence of this is that if you're not okay, that's okay, because we're going through a huge shake-up to be who we are here really to be, who our souls have chosen to be here. So we have to get rid of our stuff. And I can talk from my experience for me, launching the choice that I wanted to do about creating health empowerment with the Infinity Health Hub meant I had to raise my game. It meant I had to start really looking at imposter syndrome, self-sabotage, sacrifice, self-love, acceptance of who I am, to be able to get myself on these videos doing what I'm doing right now. The fear of the persecution, the being able to express and talk and just be here and be comfortably in it too. So I've had to raise my game to be here for this dream that I have created. I had to do the deep work too. So I totally understand. So there'll be dreams that you will have, I am sure. There are things that may be coming around and just dropping into your mind, things that might be triggering you more late, things about the earth, things that you want to go out and do, things that the society that you want to make changes. Yeah, that means you stepping up a little bit more. This is like that encouragement to get you to do the work, to be here, what you're here for, to be leaders of change in our own way. And that could be a mum changing to inspire her children. It could be somebody in a company that wants to change a business and change the culture. It could be multiple ways, multiple places where we all are right now. And there's reasons why we're here, wherever we are, and the journeys that we've had to share, to shift into a more heart consciousness existence. And we can only do that through the internal work. We can't change the world, we can only change ours. But when we start changing ours, we start changing the outer world. Okay. So the essence of this is you're going to be going through a whole lot of stuff. And know that you're okay, and get your support. Get out there, get the right people that can support you. Okay, create that support network, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's, bring professionals in, someone like myself that can help you connect to your body and to understand who you are and to empower who you are and for you to really trust who you are. Something like that, and something where you start to really be you. And on top of that, bring in these little steps of self-care, of guided meditation, breathing techniques. There's lots of different breathing techniques. The perfect one at the moment, which I've been doing, is you get your perineum and you're sucking up. It's like an air, like a straw is coming up. So for women, it's from your yoni upwards, this deep fascial line. For men, it's your perineum and your penis, basically, and you're kind of bringing it up to your throat, and then you're breathing it out. And it's kind of encouraging, like if you can imagine it's a tube, you're encouraging that flow to start shaking up to get rid of any blockages. And you're bringing that line up from your yoni, from your navel, to your heart, to your throat, and then breathing out. And then you can encourage up and bring it up into your head and out. So I'll probably do a separate sort of class for that for people. And I've mentioned journaling. Get out in nature, go and ground. If you can swim outside, even better, subject to the conditions of the sea, which is really unfortunate in the UK. It's something we really need to stop with the sewage getting out there, because the saline in the beach and the sea will be amazing for you to be swimming in. So this will really help your central nervous system and the cerebral spinal fluid, which I will mention now because I can, like I said, it's going to be a long one, but the lymph is really showing up, which is again the detoxing of the body. It's the transition between organs and the blood and water and how the body releases what it needs. So the lymph is playing up, which is a lot to do with our cerebral spinal fluid and our central nervous system. This gets dehydrated, we will have headaches, we will get pain, especially neural pain, like pain coming down the back of the neck, down your lower back, sciatica, just like not quite specific where it is, but it's radiating out. We all get that sort of pain, a contraction, feels like your body is being compressed. This is what will be happening if you're dehydrated. So it's not just about necking loads of water, it's also about putting electrolytes in your water so your body can absorb things like rock salt, pink rock salt, Himalayan. Put a little bit of that in with some warm water and lemon in the morning. It's a really good way of flushing out your system, your large intestine, which it needs to. You generally need a poop in the morning between 7 and 9. That's when your large intestine wants to try and get rid of things. Really encourage that excretion, basically, and that will help you feel better and less toxicity in your body. Magnesium, bloody brilliant stuff. This stuff, better you, incredible stuff. Spray that in your navel, spray it into wherever you're getting that pain and discomfort. And Epsom salt baths, perfect. Be in water. Water is really good for the lymph. It's kind of like a rebalancing. And this osmosis, it kind of enables the body to find that balance of itself and to be able to sort of start to detox. So what else have I put here? I think that's about it, really. So I would, first of all, just recognize that it's okay not to be okay. Take moments out, make sure you're doing these self-care practices for yourself, like brushing your teeth. Even if you just did morning and night, just look at your day. What can you release? How can you come to acceptance? What do you need to let go of? Is it control? Is it the illusions? Just really have these sort of practices. Have a moment of 5 minutes with your brain to go, right, what are you going to tell me? What have you got to tell me? Because you're just doing my fucking head in. Right, I'll give you 5 minutes to tell me exactly what's going on. Download it, write it, burn it if you need to. And then you kind of can enable yourself to have a little bit more clarity of thought. Do the meditations, bring the magnesium, go to bed earlier, let yourself get some better sleep. This will really help your serotonin levels. And then your serotonin helps your mood, and then helps your melatonin, which then helps you sleep, which then helps your body heal. So there's many things you can do, but I will leave it on that one because I have been going on for quite some time. So I do hope this has been of help. I'm sure it has. And if you need more information from me, if you want one-to-one sessions with me, I'm actually going to be creating like a self-development, like not an intense course, but it's a very focused holding space for you for like 7 treatments over 7 weeks, or maybe a bit longer, depending on how your body is, because you can overpower it. So it's really where you are neurologically. And to enable you to go through this process, this transformation, like a caterpillar, it has to turn to mush before it's a butterfly. So this transformation sounds glorious, but it can be pretty shitty too. So if you've got someone holding that space for you, it feels more graceful. You're able to see things quicker of what is not serving you. It gives you more clarity, more enlightenment for you to be able to transition and make those choices of change that you want to. So when someone's holding that space for you, this transition is much, much easier and much more graceful. So if that is of interest to you, give me a shout. We can put something together, and I've put a lot of materials together, which will actually be a course that I'll be launching very soon. The Love to Heal process. It's where you listen, observe, visualize, empower. It's just all about understanding your body and using meditation as a way to create neuroplasticity to make those changes. Okay, so if you're not local to me, look up people that can help and support you. Okay. But equally, this course will be online as well. But if you need that physical one-to-one, go and do that. Power of touch is incredible. Okay, so lots of love. And if you can just drop any comments on here in terms of what you found interesting, what you would like to know more about, please drop that in, and I'd love to see your comments. So I'm just not talking it out into the ether, nobody's listening, but I'm just loving listening to myself. It'd be really nice to know that people are hearing me and are getting value from this, not from an ego perspective, just more as they're trying to understand what people want to hear. So please feel free to drop your comments in, and yeah, I wish you well. Take care.